Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
Joe's working to protect and expand the Affordable Care Act. He'll make sure millions of people keep their coverage and no one can be denied for a pre-existing condition. He'll bring down the cost of health care and prescription drugs too, and allowing Medicare to negotiate drug prices.
That's a big effing deal.
That's a big effing deal.
Because Joe knows we can't have a healthy economy if people can't afford health care.
Donald Trump is suing to take health care coverage away from more than 20 million Americans and eliminate protections for over 100 million with pre-existing conditions.
In the middle of a pandemic.
That's a big effing deal.
See what they did there. I watched some of it last night, as much as I could. I had a lot of other stuff going on. And it was, let me tell you something. If you want to win my vote, right, if your goal is I want to win Chad's vote, I want to win Sally's vote, I want to win, Micah's vote, I want to win Karen's vote, to me, tell me how amazing you're going to be. You can tell me that you're different. You can tell me all of the differences between you and the candidate. But when you get to the point where it's just basically, this guy sucks, he's awful, and I'm a little less awful, it's boring. I don't care. I don't care. It's a turnoff. It's like, have you ever gone on a date with somebody and all they do is talk about how horrible their ex is and how much they suck, and you're just like, I don't want any part of this. And that's kind of what I feel like goes on in politics anymore. Show me why you're better. Show me what you're going to do that's better. Show me why I should trust you. Because the guy here, he lies a lot. But his actions haven't been that bad. You have to ask yourself, is it the attitude? Or is it his actions? To me, I can't stand a lot of his attitude. I don't mind the fighting. I don't mind being bold. I don't mind some of that. Some of it, though, is just ridiculous with Trump. But on the other side of things, I look and I say, he's pulling us out of the Middle East. I like that. He's made our NATO allies pay more money. I like that. He's not hard on Russia. No, you, and this is the funny thing about the whole Russia thing. We'll touch on it. You want him to be hard on Putin. You don't care about whether or not he's hard on Russia. He's been hard on Russia. The China thing, times it's been tough. Other times it's been, could have been tougher. Should have been tougher. Nobody else was tough. Right? Courts. If you're a conservative, he's reshaped the hell out of the courts. And I've said, even if he only has one term, his legacy may be the courts. Especially the courts you don't see. The lower courts. Oh, he shaped the hell out of those. Well, but he's a jerk. Okay. I don't know who I'm going to vote for. But at this moment in time, I just sit there and I think to myself, this is the best we can do? This is it? The absolute best we can do. Chaos, craziness, reality TV with some good actions. Lots of lip service, lots of empathy, lots of promises. Been there before. Usually falls extremely, extremely flat. It's frustrating. I thought, I'm going to give it a try for a second night. I just don't want hours and hours of how much this guy sucks with very little of how great. We are. What we're going to do. And that's kind of what you get nowadays. And that's why over the last 2+ decades, what we get more often than not is vote against that person is a vote for me. And that's sad.
Good evening. A presidential election is the world's most important job interview. At the end, we hire a leader to help us solve problems, create opportunities, and give our kids better tomorrows. That's a tall order this year, with the COVID-19 outbreak on a path to killing 200,000 people and destroying millions of jobs and small businesses. Only when COVID exploded in even more states did he encourage people to wear masks. By then, many more were dying. When asked about the surge in deaths, he shrugged and said, "It is what it is." But did it have to be this way? No. Just one thing never changes: his determination to deny responsibility and shift the blame. The buck never stops there.
Me? First of all, why do you put him on stage? He's a former president. He's got a lot of issues. Why do you put him on stage? Secondly, you're there to tear apart the guy that's in office right now. And everybody wants to say, we're about uniting. If you're trying to win over disgruntled Republicans and you're trying to win over people that are independent, it's a major turnoff to watch 6 hours of hate fest. It is. Not all of it is, but a good portion of it is. And I love because we've talked to several Biden surrogates, because we're going to get them on the show. And I've talked to several of them, and they'll all say, well, go read the website. I don't want to read the website. I want to read the website. Tell me how you're going to win people over. Tell me how you're going to get the base from the other side to jump on your side. Tell me what you're going to do. Not just, he sucks. That is so... He sucks. He sucks. I just suck a little less. Oh, God. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at me. I got this last night from a lot of people. AOC, first of all, she only got a minute. What other freshman only got a minute? Who knows? Who cares? Get over yourself, for God's sakes. They gave her a minute. Everybody's like, wow, she should have got more than that. Yeah, well, Andrew and Kasich and everybody, I didn't see you giving up your time.
Good evening, bienvenidos, and thank you to a mass people's movement working to establish 21st century social, economic, and human rights, including guaranteed health care, higher education, living wages, and labor rights for all people in the United States. A movement striving to recognize and repair the wounds of racial injustice, colonization, misogyny, and homophobia. I hereby second the nomination of Senator Bernard Sanders of Vermont for President of the United States of America.
Oh, people are like, oh my God, I can't believe she did that. Settle down. Settle down. Okay. There's rules. This thing's very archaic in the way that they do things. Everybody has got delegates. Everybody who's picked up things along the way, there's a formal process. Bernie picked up delegates. He's got things along the way. He's got to be nominated. That's the way the thing works. Most people don't understand that. They're like, wow, she wished Joe Biden luck, the whole 9 yards. It's just a very archaic. We have it's part of the thing with our politics, which is weird, at times cumbersome, and also very unique, is we do have a certain thing that we do. You know, the roll call of states. Isn't that fun? That's producer Phil's favorite thing, man. People stand up here, I'm from the great state of blah, 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 we nominate, blue. That's part of it. But, you know, we can go into the social justice side of it, but I was trying to point out to people, there's a process that goes along with this. This was part of said process. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me, text the program. Hope you're doing well. I do. Wounded Paw Project, amazing organization. Been working with them for a while. I'll tell you what, for a while. And it is incredible what they do. They rescue animals, dogs, that would be euthanized, and they get them to our first responders, our vets and their family. Some of them are struggling mentally with PTSD, and they're having a tough time adjusting to life. Others are struggling with physical injuries, and that's where Wounded Paw comes in to help, and they unite the two. Their motto is to save a paw is to save a life. It takes a while to train these dogs. It's not cheap, but it is worthwhile. But they need your help. A donation of a vehicle is amazing. If it runs, if it flies, if it floats, whatever it is, they don't even care. You're going to get a great tax-deductible gift. They'll pick it up. On top of that, you can set your supporting group at smile.amazon.com and support them that way, and they also take cash. Find out how you can help. Find out the things that you can do to get involved. It is incredible. It really is. Go to woundedpawproject.org. That's woundedpawproject.org. You truly will be saving a paw to save a life. Chad Benson Show.
Being antisocial sucks. Hang with Chad's friends on Facebook, The Chad Benson Show. And if you just need some alone time, head on over to Twitter at Chad Benson Show. Either way, we can't wait to meet the real you.
It's always best if Congress can get its act together for them to act, and yet knowing very well how dysfunction continues to reign 16 blocks from here, I'm not as optimistic that they'll get their act together.
Mark Meadows, White House Chief of Staff, talking about the stimulus. You know, yesterday, more stuff came out about Russia, right? So they released it. It's like 1,000 pages of stuff. I'm not going to bore you with the details. Let somebody else do that.
The Republican-led Senate Intelligence Committee releasing its final report, declaring the 2016 Trump campaign had repeated contacts with Russian operatives. Among the new findings, the report saying Paul Manafort, Trump's campaign chairman, represented a grave counterintelligence threat, determining he gave polling information to Konstantin Kilimnik, who the committee describes as a Russian intelligence officer.
Now, the question is were they played? Were they stupid? Were they seeking? Probably all of those. How much did Trump know or not know? And none of it matters. Well, Chad, it should matter. No, and I'm going to tell you why it doesn't matter. If you're a single mom right now and you're having to have 2 or 3 part-time jobs, you're trying to homeschool your kid, nobody cares about Russia. If you and your husband own a small business and you're trying to stay afloat in the bizarre world of COVID and the weird rules put on by your state, nobody cares. Not that it doesn't matter, but it doesn't matter now. That ship sailed. It's gone. You can't even see it from the dock anymore. Bye was a long time ago. People now are looking at different issues that affect their daily life. People who live in the world of politics, this is big to them, because it's about re-election or stopping somebody from being re-elected. And by the way, in the Senate Intelligence Report, there was also some serious issues about the FBI. The dossier was proven to be way too weighted and baloney, and everybody knew it, but they continued to go along with it. So everybody had their issue. And when people bring you something and say, look at this, and then you'll say, well, yeah, I see that, and look over here. Well, that doesn't matter. No, again, your truth is you only want to tell half the side. But at the end of the day, people are looking around saying to themselves, self? I don't care. I care about now. I care about, am I going to have a roof over my head? I care about, am I going to have food on my table? Am I going to be foreclosed on? Am I going to have my car repoed? Is my life that I've built up going to crumble? Is my mom or dad going to get sick from this thing and die? Russia doesn't matter. It doesn't. Not now. Not now. And trying to explain that to people, because here's the thing. Everybody thinks you're a super Trumper or a never Trumper. I'm just me. Your disdain for Trump or your love for Trump, that's a you thing. You guys argue amongst yourself. When I say that this doesn't matter, it's because it's already gone. That's why it doesn't matter. I talk to more people who are worried about what's going to happen to their business. Are they going to file bankruptcy? Are they throwing in their towels? What are they going to do about their kids and school? or one of them going to have to quit a job to take care of their kids at home by teaching them all day than I do about, you know what? I'm sorry. You're going to have to stop down everything. I don't care about what's going on over here. Your life's falling apart or going south, or you're struggling to keep your head above water because the Senate intelligence report from 2000. We know all the crap they did. We do. Focus on the here and now. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. Text the program as well. Trump yesterday out here in Yuma. Trump's doing the same thing. He's attacking.
Joe Biden is the puppet of the radical left-wing movement that seeks the complete elimination of America's borders and boundaries. They want to take the wall down. They don't want to have borders. They want to have sanctuary cities. Lots of bad things they want, following orders from his boss. I guess his new boss is Bernie Sanders. Can you believe that?
Can you believe that? Can you believe that now? I think there's a worry out there that there's that. See, that's an attack with a little bit of truth. Just like the other attack that come at Trump has a little bit of truth. But it gets old. It does. But Trump's painted himself into a corner where that's what his base expects. You want to win votes? You want to win people over? You want to do those things to me? Tell me why you're different. Tell me why you're better. You can compare. You can contrast. But try to win me over in a way that's very real. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Coronavirus still here. It's still here. It's not gone anywhere. Chad Benson Show.
Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
Hi, I'm John Kerry. For the 8 years of the Obama-Biden administration, we led by example. We eliminated the threat of an Iran with a nuclear weapon. We built a 68-nation coalition to destroy ISIS. We forged a 195-nation agreement to attack climate change. We stopped Ebola. Donald Trump inherited a growing economy and a more peaceful world. And like everything else he inherited, he bankrupted it. When this president goes overseas, it isn't a goodwill mission, it's a blooper reel. He breaks up with our allies and writes love letters to dictators. America deserves a president who is looked up to, not laughed at.
John Kerry. You guys didn't know. First of all, settle down with the Ebola virus. It's getting a little old. Okay. It's getting old. If we did nothing, if we did absolutely nothing, we were never in danger of the Ebola virus. Never. No. If we did nothing. Coming here. So, ISIS? No. By the way, you didn't talk about all the wars you got us into. You didn't talk about that, Kerry. I can say a lot of things about Trump. Right? Remember, he's dropping a nuclear weapon. That was it. World's coming to an end. Yet he's pulled troops out. He's getting us out. He wants to, and people are trying to figure out, well, how do we stay? He wants to do that. Mission accomplished? No. He's trying to get us out. And you now are like, oh, you got us into more stuff. You were anything but a coalition builder in an area. He just got something done. If Obama did what Trump and the Israelis and the United Arab Emirates have just done. If they did that, they would hand him his second Nobel Peace Prize. Zero play anywhere. As if it's not even a big deal. Oh, it's a big deal. It is. The Iran nuclear deal, it was a joke. Chuck Schumer thought it was a joke. Because nobody trusts them. And when you talk about love letters to dictators, he thought he could sell some of these people. Wasn't a fan of it. By the way, you saw Xi a lot. He's a dictator. And you're really talking about the little dude. Well, we're forgetting the fact that you guys wanted to embrace Cuba and did. As if Cuba's this free-flowing world of free idea, free thought, democracy, free market. Oh, yeah. No, but you did. But you did. You did some good stuff. You did some stuff on the economy. I thought you could have done better. I'm not an Obama hater. A lot of people are. Zero hate for Obama. I thought he did. I was fine with DACA. I was more pissed about the fact that we have allowed things to get so out of control because we've always had do-nothing people in power who like to use, how should I say this, the people that are coming here illegally as political puppets. One likes cheap labor, the other's hoping one day to have a ton of free votes. There's a lot you can point out. Nobody's perfect. Again, I don't hate Obama. I don't hate Trump. By the way, I don't have love for any politician. But you don't talk about those. And the Ebola thing, just let that go. Let that, if Trump said, I defeated the Ebola virus, people are like, oh my God, he's so a liar. So much, oh God, it's not the same. Not even the same. It's not even close. Oh my goodness. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at us and text the program as well. Love hearing from you. Speaking of the virus, the coronavirus is still here. It's not gone anywhere. We got to figure this out.
The good news, this country just logged less than 40,000 new cases in a day. First time in nearly 2 months. Very high, but falling. The bad news, we're still averaging more than 1,000 lives lost every day to this virus. And here's the key metric. In nearly half of states, the number of tests coming back positive is still too high.
You look at New York City right now, it's less than 1%. That's what you want the whole country to be.
Yeah. Some places are 5. Some places, here we've gotten down to like 6 or 8%, depending on the day. So that's good, but it's spreads and it's hopping from place to place. Why is that? Well, kids are going back to school in some places. People have had enough and they're going on mini vacations to see family places, and they're probably have no idea that they are asymptomatic and are going. They feel fine. They're no different as far as anybody else who doesn't have this. They feel fine, and so that spread is real. Here's the good news, though, and what people aren't talking about, and we've touched on this. It's mutating, and people say, oh, my God, it's mutating. No. A copy of the copy of the copy of the copy is never as good as the original. So as it mutates, and they're showing that it's becoming less and less potent, even though you're still able to catch it, it's becoming far less potent. So the copy of the the original, the Wuhan, right? The China flu, whatever you want to call it. That was far more deadly. They got to Europe, it mutated. Deadly, but not as deadly as the original. Got to New York, deadly, and then poor choices, but that's all Trump's fault because he said, hey, Andrew Cuomo, you need to put all the people who have COVID into the nursing homes. So we'll forget about that. So then it bounced around a few places, and as it mutates, it becomes less deadly, which is what epidemiologists are starting to notice, that maybe what we have here in the West isn't exactly what we had out in the East, and that while it spreads similarly, it's just less lethal.
New infection rates are now falling in the south, but rising in the heartland.
There are parts of the country where it's 15, 18, 20%. That's really high.
Some returning Missouri State University students are packing a quarantine go bag just in case.
Hand sanitizer and bleach and Clorox wipes where I could find them.
Across the country, that path back to in-person classes is pitted with potholes, according to the UNC at Chapel Hill.
4 clusters across the entire campus in just 3 days.
Yeah. And Notre Dame yesterday, another issue. I mean, they weren't there but for a few days, and they're done.
Often we learn of such gatherings through our contact tracing inquiries, and we have a policy that information gained through such inquiries will not be used in any disciplinary action.
And that's what they're worried about. These kids came from all over. They partied, they hung out, because that's what young 20-somethings and 18 and 19-year-olds who are away from their homes, who've been stuck indoors for months, are back on campus. They're hanging out. Next thing you know, it's gone to hell in a handbasket like that. And now they're trying to contact trace everybody, and they're closing things down. And we had a friend of ours, one of the people that work here, his son went this first year at Notre Dame, and they took him out there, and they were just like how great it was, and they're showing the people all this stuff, and this is what we're doing. And he was there like a few days, and like, what are they going to send us home now?
If these steps are not successful, we will have to send students home, as we did last spring.
Yeah, and so that's the worry. Still have to pay full freight, though, for those of you not keeping score. Paying the full freight. So it's growing. It is. It's not as deadly, which is great. We're doing better at treating it. But we're still a far way from a vaccine. We're still ways away from a vaccine, which I think, the whole flattening the curve thing, that's gone. I think, bye-bye, that's totally gone. So now it's, for a lot of people, life's not going to be back to normal until we have the vaccine. Life will get back to normal before that. We'll find some therapeutics that are solid. I think we're getting closer to some of those. I think the treatment side of it's getting better. Outside of that, we're going to have to make that choice. Yesterday I talked about New Zealand and people saying, well, that's the way to go. Well, that's not who we are. We're not New Zealand. First of all, we're not a small island that can just say, no, you can't come in, you can't leave, you can't do that. Everybody stay indoors. Don't go anywhere. Don't move. And that's just never going to happen. Ever. They did not have a case for 102 days. They got a case, and what ended up happening? They shut the country down again. They shut it down again. We would never have that. We're having troubles with this now. But they're able to do that because they're a tiny island. We're 360 million, 352 million, 308 million, depends on who you talk to, but let's just say 350-ish. We're also 50 tiny countries that all want to do their own thing. So there's a lot that goes into that as well. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. Text the program. Love hearing from each and every one of you. Hello Fresh. You guys hear that up there? That we're redoing our studios here for whatever reason. Hello Fresh is amazing. They're incredible. Last night, a little steak, a little pasta, a little delicious. So you got low-calorie options with HelloFresh. You've got the vegetarian option, because a lot of people are like, you know what, I like vegetarian options. And that's what you are. And a lot of people are like me, little family-friendly option. So I did the low-calorie, which last night, you heard the pasta and stuff? Yeah, it was. It was, oh, my God, it was delicious. 20 minutes is about what it takes to make. So think about this. Contact-free, you're going to be saving money, about 40% versus the grocery store. And a little portion control action, which is great, so you're not throwing food away. Plus, the time you save. You don't have to meal plan or prep. It takes about 20 minutes to go from start to finish to get in your belly. This is awesome. So this is what I want you to do. Go to HelloFresh.com. Find out what's best for you. Use the promo code Benson. You're going to save $80 off your first box. Plus, they're going to ship it to you free. And you could change your weeks. You can add extra meals, whatever you want to do. HelloFresh.com, promo code Benson, $80 off your first box, free shipping. HelloFresh.com, promo code Benson, Chad Benson Show.
Boys, give me a bowl of chili with plenty of peppers.
One Mexican heartburn. Why don't you mugs grow up?
The Chad Benson Show, where independent, a la carte thinkers have a seat at the table and a voice in the dialogue.
I'll have what she's having.
This is Chad Benson.
Hi, I'm former Secretary of State Colin Powell. The values I learned growing up in the South Bronx and serving in uniform were the same values that Joe Biden's parents instilled in him in Scranton, Pennsylvania. I support Joe Biden for the presidency of the United States because those values still define him, and we need to restore those values to the White House. He'll be a president who knows that America is strongest when, as he has said, we lead both by the power of our example and the example of our power. He will restore America's leadership in the world and restore the alliances we need to address the dangers that threaten our nation, from climate change to nuclear proliferation.
Yeah, so there's that. There was more Republicans speaking rhinos. Somebody calls them rhinos. But it shows you the whole thing with Trump is how much of it is personality. Because if you're a conservative, some of the stuff he's done, you have to applaud. You do. I mean, the courts, the pulling us out of endless wars, the not getting us in a war, the being tough on terror, the slashing regulations, slashing taxes. There's a lot that you could sit there and go, well, yeah. Justice reform? Remember, Obama, he didn't do justice reform. You had your chance. You didn't. There's a record here. The thing is, though, we're not running on record. You're running on personality. We can argue all day about all these deaths are Trump's fault. And for some people, none of their deaths are Trump's fault. It's somewhere in the middle. People have a part to play in this as well. States have a part to play in this. Let's not forget, at the beginning of this, when it started to really become a hot spot in New York, Trump said, I'm thinking we need to close down New York State and not allow travel in or out. Do you remember that? That was after he banned stuff from China. And the first thing that people started doing on the left was, he's a xenophobe. That's a racist thing to do. He's a xenophobe. And then when he said that about New York, remember, everybody wants the government to take a leading role in this. What ended up happening? Cuomo came out and said, he's just declared war on the state. So you can't win. Some of it is absolutely his fault. I think he shows very little empathy. That is just not his gig. I gotta be honest. I don't go to my leaders for empathy. I just don't. Understanding? He's frustrated. He's pissed. This thing's probably going to cost him the election if it was held today. It would absolutely cost him the election. It's not held today. They still have to play the game, meaning they still have to be on stage with one another. In the end of the day, so much of this is about the fact that people can't stand him as a human being. They can't. They can't. And I love how conservatives like, you're real conservative. You won't vote for Trump. I'm like, I don't know if I'm voting for any of them. At this point, none of them have done enough to impress me. Because there are stuff I've done that he's done I don't like. The immigration thing was a disaster. Being tough on immigration is great. The way he handled it, I've not been thrilled by the way he's handled the coronavirus. I've not been thrilled by a lot of that. I think he has tried to dodge some responsibility. the end of the day, though, a lot of this, especially from the Republican side that are jumping ship, they're not mad at his record. They're pissed at who he is as a human being. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me and text the program as well. Love hearing from every single one of you. By the way, we're still kind of talking, apparently, about the post office, which is now going to be totally fine because it is totally, it's going to be awesome. It's just they're just, everything's going back to the way it was. It's just going to be awful. Instead of it being awful and a bigger mess, it's just now going to be plain old awful. Just want to let you guys know. So ease your mind. If you were worried about the post office, ease your mind. It's still bad, but it's normal bad, not politically bad. Check out Chad Benson Show TV on the old tube of you. That's YouTube, for those of you not keeping score. Instagram at Chad Benson Show and Twitter as well. You can text the program always, 323-538-2423. It is the Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show. Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
When unemployment in North Charleston, South Carolina, a city I represent, has risen nearly fourfold, and evictions are putting families out on the street in the middle of a pandemic.
Make no mistake, it didn't have to be this bad. In the early days of the virus, Donald Trump didn't listen to the experts. And then he said something that a president should never say.
He said, I don't take responsibility at all.
No responsibility.
No leadership.
No plan.
He still doesn't have a plan.
Donald Trump just doesn't understand. We can't fix our economy until we get a hold of the virus.
Ooh, I got him. Look, he said no responsibility, and I didn't think he started it. Just want to let everybody know that. You're the president. You have responsibility. Period. Case closed. End of story. The buck does stop with you. I don't think you've handled this well. You have gone after your leaders in the fight against this way too many times. Way too many times. Way too many times. But I don't think you started it. Just want to let everybody know that. Do you remember, though? Let's go back. Let's flash back to late March, early April. So late March, early April. 2.2 million dead. That was the prediction. 2.2 million. That's a lot. 171,000 dead. We've only had 5.5 million test positive. So if you're good, could you not say that he did something right? Well, no, they just got it wrong. Oh, but then now you want me to believe them now. Yeah. He has failed. He's absolutely failed in the response to coronavirus. I will not. Now, he's not the only one. I said this yesterday. There's 100%, right, in this pie of failure in the response. And I give him about 40% of that failure in the way that he's handled stuff. I give 40% to the states. I give 20% to human beings because we're human beings. Inherently, we're going to screw stuff up. That's what we've done. That's what we'll continue to do. Us as Americans will always push back at something. Will always push back. I can guarantee if Joe Biden was president, right, or if Hillary was president, and we were still sitting at these same numbers, But the 2.2 million prediction was like, well, the reason that we didn't get to 2.2 million is because of the great work that they did and the way we've come together. So if I would have told you, right, take out the politics of it all, that in April, the prediction by some was 2.2 million, even slice that in half. We'll just make it a solid million. And then you flash forward to late August, heading into September, and we're not even at 175,000 deaths. You would have been like, wow, they must have done something right. He needs to take more responsibility. That's what leaders do. You take responsibility. 110%. You absolutely take responsibility. And he has failed on more than a few occasions when it's come to this to take responsibility. The problem is with a lot of people out there, they want to give him all of the bad and they will never give him any of the good. I was talking to a couple people yesterday who are uber Trump haters. Like they are. It's amazing that they function so much. Everything the good happened up until the coronavirus was all attributed to Obama. Everything bad that happened is Trump. See, when you get all the responsibility and you're going to get all the blame, you have to get all the credit. We live in a world now where your side gets all of the credit for anything good and the other side gets all of the credit for anything that's done bad. And that's not the way it works. Absolutely, he's got some responsibility. 110%. And him not saying that is asinine. Him getting all of the blame is insane. The night before, Mr. Cuomo, the governor of the great state of New York, comes out and he hammers Trump. All the while, on his watch, they lost the most lives. He put people back in nursing homes who had the coronavirus, and Trump gets the blame. Sorry, responsibility goes to you. There's enough blame and responsibility to go around. We just don't want to give, quote unquote, the other team any credit. And we don't want to, quote unquote, take the blame and our part in failures. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me, text the program. Last night was just another night of fun and frivolity. Lots of usual stuff. Cindy McCain made an appearance, a little voiceover, right? She's not a fan of Trump. Just want to let you guys know that.
So our choice is clear. A steady, experienced public servant who can lead us out of this crisis just like he's done before. Or a man who only knows how to deny and distract. A leader who cares about our families, or a president who only cares about himself. We know Joe Biden. America, we need Joe Biden.
So, she's voting for Joe. I got zero problems with that. She's not a no, she is there. It's personal. Much like with Nadler and Cuomo and Trump, it's personal. If they were three guys who had nothing to do with politics and they were just on the street, they wouldn't like each other. It's personal. With Cindy McCain and what he said about John McCain, it's personal. It is. There were a lot of people last night, a lot of conservatives speaking. So you have Kasich, you've had former Trump employees. This is the way I look at I'm going to bring somebody on who used to work for Trump.
I'm Sally Yates. Speaking at a political convention is something I never expected to be doing. But the future of our democracy is at stake. I was fired for refusing to defend President Trump's shameful and unlawful Muslim travel ban. That was the start of his relentless attacks on our democratic institutions and countless dedicated public servants. Like me, these officials didn't swear an oath to a person or a party. But from the moment President Trump took office, he's used his position to benefit himself rather than our country.
If you're disgruntled, I don't know how much I can't take stock in that. We broke up. You dumped me. And now I'm angry. We had a contentious relationship, but you decided to dump me. So I'm mad. I'm not going to listen. That doesn't do any good for me. Does it do anything for you? I mean, if you watch any of these things, and there's some, look, the thing is, much like the people that end up getting the press, the people that end up getting put front and center, the people that end up being the ones that people talk about, it's just all sound bites and stuff like that. There are other things that are going on where you listen to, because I've listened to some of it. So throughout the day, kind of like I talked, this is like boxing. So if you watch big giant boxing match, like pay-per-view, right? It's the big one. It's Mayweather. It's Pacquiao. That goes on at 9 o'clock at night, 10 o'clock at night, Vegas local time. The prelims start at 1 in the afternoon, and they go on throughout the day. And that's kind of what happens with this. And if you listen to some of the other things, you can go, okay, there's that. They're trying to do stuff, but you don't hear about that because everybody wants to see the names. Everybody does. I do know one thing, though. Whether people on the left or the Democratic side want to believe this or not, there is a definite surge to the uber left in what they're talking about. And that's truly scary in some ways. Some of it's so ridiculous that even people that are on the left are like, well, that's a bit much. But this is somebody from the first day, Ashley Nicole McCrae. She's one of like the activists, the people that are out there, DNC kind of person. And listen to what she says.
We understand that this future that we all want, that we're all trying to build, really is about the destruction of colonization, white supremacy, and capitalism.
Colonization? What do we... White supremacy and capitalism? That's a lot of where they're going. The capitalism's evil and bad. You heard it last night with AOC. There's a lot of that out there. And that to me is the scary part. And if I'm Trump, I'm focusing on that without the disdain. And if I'm Biden, I'm talking about America and trying to reach over saying, look, I'm not going to tax you to the point where you can't return, but we need to steady some of this stuff. I am not going to put you in a position where we're weakened and destroying our military. I'm asking everybody to do their part. But too often I hear their side sucks, and that's not a win. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson shows your Twitter. And when you start throwing around things like capitalism's evil, if I'm Biden, I'm like, capitalism's what makes us great. Capitalism's what sets us apart. Capitalism brings more people out of poverty and puts them in prosperity than anything else in the world. And we need to maintain that and keep that. But there are things we can do to fix it and make it better. Yes. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show. Twitter, tweet at me. Check out Chad Benson Show TV. Go there, subscribe. That's on the YouTube. MyPillow, sleep well. Sleep well, my friends, with MyPillow. Right now they got a BOGO going on. Buy one, get one free. 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 And that's on all of their stuff. Their mattress toppers, their sheets, their towels, their pillows, you name it. You buy one, you get one free. You get a 60-day money-back guarantee, a 10-year warranty. It's made right here in the U.S. of A., which is great. And here's the other thing. You go to MyPillow.com, use the promo code Benson. When you do, and on the way out, if you buy Mike Lindell's book, he's going to ship everything to you for free and give you a $25 gift card towards your next purchase. Go to MyPillow.com, use the promo code Benson. Save yourself with the buy one, get one free. MyPillow.com, promo code Benson, Chad Benson Show.
Warning, no snowflake zone. Uninformed opinions are in danger of melting. The Chad Benson Show.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Ignition. Liftoff.
Now it's time to find out what's trending. What's trending? Yeah, what does that mean? I mean something, right? Like it's trending on the old internet. What's trending? So much stuff is trending. Julius Lothar-Meyer trended yesterday. 2 million people on Google searched. Honors the periodic table. Pioneer. Lakers, they trended because they lost last night. Apparently basketball is still going on. I have no idea. You know what's going on. You know how I know what's going on? Because I don't even know where they are in the playoffs. Because apparently playoffs started. I thought the playoffs started 2-3 weeks ago. But that is not. Susan B. Anthony was posthumously pardoned by the President of the United States. Trending. Bubonic plague. South Lake Tahoe. Hiker tested positive. Just crazy because I thought that the Trump better get on that. Chad. It's his fault. He's allowed it to happen. His failure in leadership has allowed the plague to spread. What else is trending? Let's head over to Twitter where everybody hates everybody just because they do. AOC trending because of last night. People were confused. They're like, how could she do that to Biden? She didn't do anything to Biden. You can vote in person is trending. I tweeted something earlier. I Instagrammed something. I'll probably tweet it a little bit. Where people are outside protesting the fact that they can't vote by mail. And I'm like, so you can go outside to protest, but you can't go outside to vote? Yes, protesting is the way you get around anything. That's the new thing. Just say you're protesting. If I'm the NBA, I just have fans there. They all have social justice stuff that they're wearing on their uniforms. Just call it a protest. And a basketball game broke out. Every night. Every single night. The DNC roll call is trending. People enjoyed the format. They think it's the way of the future, and I think it is too. So the roll calls are very exciting. They're fun. You can just scream about how awesome your state is. And, oh, God, state's amazing, blah, 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 blah. And normally you do it there. Now this is really neat because you can do it in your own state, tape it a couple days before, and do it in front of really cool things that kind of symbolize what your state is. So depending on where you are, here in Arizona, you could be in the desert, in the mountains. In California, you could be in front of the beach or Skid Row, whatever it is. Hey, this is why we're great. Whatever it is. And that's fun. And I think that's going to be the new way they do it. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. James Kennedy, Kennedy Institute of Public Policy Research. We make him watch all this stuff so you don't have to. He joins us straight ahead. Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
Over the last 4 years, we have experienced failed leadership under Donald J. Trump. We've had to deal with this insanity.
I've watched our country deteriorate.
The cover-ups, the lying, the favoritism.
The disregard for the Constitution.
Donald Trump has failed America.
We need to prove to the world, and most importantly, prove to ourselves that we are better than this.
We need an experienced leader. A leader that has passion, integrity, and strategic leadership skills. And his name is Joe Biden.
Joe Biden.
Joe Biden is that leader.
Oh, goodness me. There's a lot of that last night. A lot of, I suck less, or this guy sucks so bad. Joining us now is a person who, unfortunately for him, but luckily for all of you, will watch all of this so you don't have to. Jim Kennedy, Kennedy Institute of Public Policy Research. Jim, you said it best. Trump bad, Joe good, and that's all that you need to know.
That's pretty much what I got from 2 hours of the Democratic convention last night. Yes, that's pretty much the way it sums up. And as again, though, you know what? Probably next week it will probably be reversed. Trump good, Biden bad. Or Trump good, Biden, forgetful, lazy, bunker, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, that's probably what's going to be next week, too.
Yeah, absolutely. And why can't they come out? Like, I have no idea what his policies. You watch any of this, or if you're trying to win over the people, because you've got your base, so they're not going anywhere. But you're trying to win over the 12 to 20% of people who don't know really what they're going to do probably till last minute. And all I hear is the other guy sucks. It's like, that's to me that doesn't win people over, Jim.
No, it's basically neither of these are what I call aspirational candidates for most people. It's basically, which guy do I despise less? That's what I'm going to do. Or which guy's going to ruin America the least? Which, not really even going to make America better. Which guy's going to ruin America the least? And with Biden, the Democrats, the problem is a lot of what the Democratic agenda has become or the agenda for the Democratic Party is not stuff necessarily that's going to play well in middle America. And they still want those middle America voters, those flyover voters. They got to be careful. I mean, if you put AOC out there all night long in the convention, you're going to scare people in Iowa and Nebraska and Southern Illinois and states where they, where they want to win. So those things are kind of dangerous for them. So they've got a little bit of a problem with that. Joe Biden doesn't scare people, but putting people like AOC was going to scare a lot of people that are middle American voters.
Speaking of putting people out there, take a listen to this.
Hi, I'm former Secretary of State Colin Powell. The values I learned growing up in the South Bronx and serving in uniform were the same values that Joe Biden's parents instilled in him in Scranton, Pennsylvania. I support Joe Biden for the presidency of the United States because those values still define him, and we need to restore those values to the White House.
Colin Powell, Sidney McCain, John Kasich, numerous, people are Republicans. I look at this and I say to myself, Jim, they're Republicans, supposedly. They're conservatives, whatever you want to call them. How much of this is who he is as a human being versus the actions that he has? Because if you're conservative, you would say he's done a lot of really good stuff. But this is really about Trump the person, not Trump the actions.
Correct. I don't think anybody questions if Joe Biden is a good man or not. That's not a question. And as far as Colin Powell is an honorable man, served his country, and is about as loyal American I think as you're ever going to find. I don't think though he's ever stood up and said, "Hi, I'm a Republican." He served in the George W. Bush administration, but I don't think he's ever stood up and said, "I'm a Republican and I want to, and I want to vote for Republicans for my whole life." So that just happens to be what Colin Powell. I mean, he's a great man and all, but I don't really know if he ever was really that much of a Republican, even though he was a military leader in America. But yeah, Joe Biden is a good man. Trump, Trump's got questions. The man's, I wouldn't say he's unethical, but there are some people that are going to question Trump's ethics over time, and that plays well with the Democrats. But Joe Biden's good as far as a good person, but the question is that just the only qualification to be president? He is a little older, and you have to question his mental faculties, and that's kind of what the problem is with Joe Biden. It's not that he's a bad man. It's got some questions with his son, but he's a good person in general.
Yeah. Yeah. Look, I have no problem. I've said Joe Biden 10, 15 years ago, I don't think Joe's going to let people run him over. This is a different Democratic Party. Moving forward, Jim, tonight, Kamala, or Kamala. Mrs. Harris will be out there. I don't want to just at some point in time. Let's pick a lane and go with it. When it comes to her name, I look at this. How do you, if you're the Democrats, try to reach across the aisle? Because I hear a lot of Trump basically sucks. And if you vote for Trump, you suck. But by the way, vote for us. We still think you suck, but thank you. That can't be it. How do they try to win some of those flyover states, some of those disgruntled Trump people over without saying we're handing the keys over to an ideology, which I have no belief in?
Right, but they also have the problem of keep making sure that those people in the Democratic Party who share that ideology show up to vote. They need to get the Bernie voters out there, and they want to hear the stuff like that AOC says. So it'll be interesting what they do with Ms. Harris tonight, as far as are they going to make her being the firebrand that's going to back up the liberal wing of the party's message, the progressive message, or are you going to try to get her, as you said, to play to middle America and more go down the path of Joe Biden and stuff that he believes in, which is, fairly middle of the road Democratic policies. That's the question that we're going to have tonight, and we'll get to see it. And I will obviously let everybody know about it tomorrow.
Talking to Jim Kennedy, Kennedy Institute of Public Policy Research. I get frustrated because I want to be won over from any of these politicians. Meaning, by won over, I mean I want to hear what they're all about. And so much of this is about COVID. If there's no COVID, Jim, does Trump boat race whoever is on the left side of the aisle and win a second term?
Well, I think he's definitely up probably 3 to 5 points in the polls if there's no COVID. That's for sure. We would have had an ever-expanding economy. He'd be able to drive a lot more on the fact he'd had record low assuming we were continuing along on the path we were before early March struck, he'd be able to talk about low unemployment among African Americans, amongst minorities, amongst women. Those are the types of things that you could actually campaign on positives rather than just trying to say, well, it was until COVID came along. And then, of course, the Democrats are saying he did a horrible job. That was one of the, they really did push that a lot last night, as you said, about, Trump screwed up COVID. You can question whether you believe that or not, and some people are going to believe that, and some people aren't going to believe that. I personally think we're in an era where that hasn't happened in 100 years, and I honestly was, regardless of what either president, if it had been a Democratic president, I probably would not have faulted him for a lot of what has gone on. And I think that we're going to also have a long-term effect from a lot of these from the COVID, as far as not necessarily health, but economically. So, but that's what they've been playing on, and we'll see what happens as we go along.
Talking to Jim Kennedy, Kennedy Institute of Public Policy Research, as he breaks it down. So tonight you have Kamala Harris. What do they do with her? Do they tell the VP nominee, hey, stay somewhat in your lane, don't go uber far left? Is she going to roll out anything, or is it going to be another several hours of I hate Trump? Again, I just don't know how that plays. It's like going out on a date and your date just talks about how much their ex is the worst human being ever. They're like, I don't know if I want that.
Yeah, I've got a liberal friend of mine that I talk to almost on a weekly basis. But it's gotten to the point where whenever I talk to him now, it's simply, after about 15 minutes, the conversation devolves into how bad Trump is. Like, okay, I heard that a week ago. I heard that 2 weeks ago. Give me something new here. And I'm sure for the base that scores well, they all jump up and down, or they'll drink a glass of wine every time they hear Trump sucks. And that's what drives them. But like you said, for middle America, that's not something they want to hear. They'd like to hear an aspirational story. That's a tough time right now. There's lots of people scared. There's lots of people that are fighting for jobs that stay in their houses. And it's just simply say that, the president sucks and our guy doesn't. It's not something that's really going to get people to go out and vote. And that's really what the Democrats are relying on. They really need to get people out there to vote. It's not so much, do we have more people that believe in our policy? It's, do all the people who believe in our policies show up on election day or vote by mail or vote absentee? And that's really what's going to really possibly make the difference in this election, is who's going to be able to get their base out more. So what does Kamala say tonight to get that base out? Does she go left? I don't know. I would think she's probably going to go more of the middle of the road tonight. because they do want to make sure that they do get out, those other voters that are possibly on the fence against Trump, that maybe have had somebody that's died in their family, unfortunately, from COVID and want to blame Trump and think, well, this is enough of Trump. I supported him in 2016, but I've got to go with Joe Biden in 2020.
It's going to be interesting. Who else do you got on? Who else do they have on the slate tonight? Kamala's obviously she's the big one. She'll accept her nomination. Who else?
Oh, there's a couple of other speakers, but one of the things that was interesting is last night's keynote. That whole thing they did with the 17 different people going around was really kind of confusing. It was like everybody got like 140 words and then there were 140 letters, and they went to somebody else, and they went to somebody else, and they went to somebody else. I hope they have something that's as interesting tonight, though, as the roll call where they went out and had the different states come in. You got to take glimpses of the different things. I thought that was pretty cool, and maybe something we'd be looking at going forward in different conventions, or as we go forward with going back to real conventions in 24 and 28.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be interesting. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Follow him at Righty Jim. We'll do it again tomorrow. Have fun watching it so we don't have to, Jim.
Thanks, Chad.
Thanks at Chad Benson Show. Oh, I watch as much as I can, but I've got other shows. I'm doing other things. There's just things I can't do. And then I've got an hour drive home. And I watched a bit of it last night, and it was, and I'll catch up. I get here extra early in the morning to catch up to some of this stuff. But then sometimes I go down a rabbit hole of something else. Like I was watching Joe Rogan yesterday. He had David Blaine on. I don't know if you saw that, producer Phil. But then David Blaine had him shove a ice pick through his arm.
No.
In his paw. Yeah. And David Blaine also coughed up a frog. It's just spectacular. That to me, I found that's more entertaining. There's my president. Hey guys, he didn't know anything about geopolitics. Watch this. He's gonna cough up a frog. Oh. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show. Tweet at me. Check out the Instagram and YouTube. Chad Benson Show TV. So, Raycon's best earbuds around. I've got mine when I'm doing my video editing, or sometimes I'm just show prepping and doing other things, and I just like to chill and listen to wacky, crazy things. It's great. I just love having it. So small, fits in your ear perfect. The sound quality is just beyond. It's so amazing, and the price point. Normally, you'd pay about $250 for earbuds like this. You get the wires, the dangling stems, but you'd have a name brand that's her. And at the end of the day, what do you have? You spend a lot of money on something that's not with these. 6 hours of playtime, seamless Bluetooth pairing, better bass, better sound quality, better design, nice noise isolating fit. It's just incredible. And a price point to match. Well under $100. And you're going to save big. An extra 15%. Go to buyraycon.com/Chad. 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 Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show, where we reach across the aisle and occasionally poke someone in the eye.
People ask me who I'm voting for. It made an appearance over the weekend.
What scares me are the little ones that don't hit the ground.
Little ones, like the meteor that burst over the Russian city of Chelyabinsk in 2013.
That one, for example, was less than 20 meters across and had the ability to take out a reasonable-sized city. The little ones are much harder to see and much, much more frequent.
And those are the ones that could take out New York, London, Los Angeles.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
No, it's not going to happen. Everybody settle down. But you need to talk about that. It was close, 2,000 miles or so, but give or take. It was traveling at 27,600 miles per hour, or 7.7 miles per second, which is fast. It's almost as fast as I am when I'm at full speed. It was small, though, size of about a truck or so, something like that. And we were fine. We were fine. We were. And we're getting better at detecting even those as well. So everybody take a deep breath. But the fact that Giant Meteor wants everybody to know that he's in this to win this, makes me excited. That's my vote. Giant meteor. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show. Here, I'll paint a picture for you. Giant meteor crashes into just, pick a place, America. Kills several hundred, flattens a medium-sized city, causes billions of dollars in damage. And all night long, you would hear, under our watch, with President Obama, we never allowed a meteor to hit our country and destroy it. We stopped the Ebola virus. We stopped the meteors. That's all you would hear all night. I'd be like, oh, my God, this is where they're going with. Yes, this is where they're going with this. Under our watch, this is what would happen. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. Use car if you've got one. It's kind of gold.
Check a website like Kelley Blue Book or Edmunds.com and see what your car is worth. Experts say get offers from both dealers and online retailers. And don't just take the highest bidder. Some may offer more cash up front, and different states have different perks. The spike in value even surprises the experts. Ivan Drury of Edmunds just sold his car because he wasn't using it during the pandemic.
I actually got more than I expected, to the point where I drove my car for 1 year and I only shaved off $1,200.
Yeah. A lot of that going on. I've got a friend here who has a big dealership. He can't find cars. He goes, auctions don't even have a card. It's hard. We're offering so much more. We'll beat anybody's dealer price by 1,000. It's crazy because they just can't find the inventory because people don't know what to do. And he says, we're selling cars, too, because it's never been a better time to sell cars. But getting that trade in, because you'll have people that are like, I don't want to trade it in because I'm going to go sell it. And you're not going to give me it. It's tough out there. So if you've got a used car and you've thought about selling it, swing at Car Shield. But if you got a used car and thought about selling it, right now, maybe the great time. And if you're thinking about buying a car, it's the awesome time to do it. They're also giving those away almost. 0% financing for 300 years? 0 down? Awesome. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at me, text the program, Giant Meteor. Almost hit us. That wouldn't happen if Joe Biden was president. I don't know. Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show. Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
I am a registered Republican.
I'm a lifelong Republican. Matter of fact, I have never voted for a Democrat in my entire life.
I voted for Trump in 2016. Today, I couldn't be more ashamed of myself.
I voted for Donald Trump. Not my proudest moment. I will not be voting for him again.
I believe God put him up there for a reason to show us what our government is lacking. This man has broke us down to the very marrow and exposed our weaknesses.
We're farmers, conservative Republicans, and Christians. And here we're being asked to follow a man that lies and has no morals.
If Donald Trump is elected for 4 more years, that our country will go down the darkest path in its history.
Always makes me laugh. I'm going to go down the darkest path in American history. Never going to get any darker. It's going to be so dark. We will never be able to climb out of it. You know, I love when politicians say, it's the most important election of all time. Like, what are they supposed to say? This one's going to be all right. You guys are going to, say, maybe if you want to vote, you can. It's not really a big deal. There's other ones that are coming that are probably bigger than this one. There's a few ago, there was a really big one. This one, it's fair. It's important to me, but it's like, it's not do or die. Wouldn't that be nice if they said that? Is this really the most important election of all time? Probably not. Oh, okay. At least you're honest. Chad, it is, because if Joe Biden gets in, everybody's going to have to be trans, worship at the altar of government. We're going to have to put all of our money into one pot, and they're going to give it out to everybody. And the other side says, if Donald Trump becomes president for another 4 years, we'll get into another 9 wars that he's taken us into. We'll only speak Russian. And that is so insane. If you think for a moment that a singular politician is going to destroy our democratic republic, if you think for a moment that is going to happen, you are fooling yourselves. Americans, I'll be straightforward here. We're lazy when it comes to our rights and how we view them. We're lazy when it comes to the democracy that we have and whether or not we will or won't vote. We're divisive towards each other. Long before Trump or anybody else got here, we're all of those things and more. And at the same time, we have our crap together. If it gets out of hand one way or another, we regulate. We like to give one party just enough power to do a little something, and then we snatch that back from them and make sure that there's some sort of balance. It's not do or die every time. It's not. This isn't Game 7 of a playoff series, and we're tied at 3. This is another election. Well, Chad, the soul of our country is fine. The soul of our country is fine because you're the soul of the country. I'm the soul of the country. My kids are the soul of the country. Your kids are the soul of the country. We, collectively, are the country, not our leaders. Well, what does it say when our leaders are what? It says that they wanted that gig. First of all, I'm going to say this to everybody. I know several politicians, a few of them very well, actually. The ones I know that I would say, you know what? And I've criticized one of them highly, but he's become a friend. Text him whenever I want, talk to him all the time. You would have no idea who he is. And yet he represents our state here in D.C. The ones that you do know, the ones who want to be in front of the cameras, they're all a little bit narcissistic. They're all a little bit egotistical and driven. The celebrity of being a politician now is bigger than it's ever been. See AOC. The celebritician. They're the ones who wanted the gig. But they're not the soul of our country. And I think that we need to stop overhyping crap. Soul of our country. It is. Have you noticed that our two choices are vote for me or the country dies? And the other side's vote for me or the country dies. So what you're telling me is no matter which way we go, the country's doomed? I don't buy it. And neither do you. You're smarter than that. I like to think you're smarter than that. But that is kind of funny, though. I just love they all get into it, right? They all just totally just get into it in the way that they do it, and they have to practice, don't they? I mean, listen to Schumer.
Hi, this is Senator Chuck Schumer, Democratic leader from my hometown, Brooklyn, New York. Behind me is a sight I see out of my window every night.
Alaska.
The Statue of Liberty.
Oh.
The same sight that greeted hopeful immigrants like my grandparents. A symbol of freedom and a beacon of hope to the world. Today, Donald Trump has divided our country, diminished our greatness, and demeaned everything that this statue represents. He even hid in a bunker as Americans were tear-gassed and beaten.
And your guy who you're nominating, the only meaningful interview he's done in the last umpteen days has been with Cardi B and spends most of his day in a basement somewhere. Don't put your hopes on government. If you've learned anything out of COVID, out of the China virus, if you've learned any of this, is more dependence on yourself and less dependence on government. That's what you should. Don't look to government to hand you the answers. And also don't listen to government when they say that the other side's going to destroy everything. Every what? You're the soul of the nation. I'm the soul of the nation. It's what makes us up to be what we are. We are we're a giant, the big giant huge crayon box, and we're all different. We're all crayons, right? We're all doing our thing. They're politicians. This is their gig. Their gig is to win your election. They're selling you something. And like every good salesperson, they're going to sell you on emotion more than they'll ever sell you on facts. But enough of the melodramatic. If you vote for Trump, he's going to destroy us. He'll never leave. Another 6 nuclear wars. And Trump's like, if you vote for us, we're going to look like if you vote for them, you're going to look like Venezuela. No, we're not. We're never going to look like Venezuela. Such a lie. We're going to look like Portland. No, we're not. First of all, Portland looks like Portland because of Portland. Seattle looks like Seattle because of Seattle. Cedar Rapids is not going to look that way because people in Cedar Rapids are like, we're not going to allow that crap to happen here. That's not going to happen. We're going to put an end to that right now. It's just amazing. Every day it's the same, kids. Every day. Here's some good news. Girl Scout cookies are delicious. They are. They've got a new cookie now, though. I don't know what your favorite cookie is, but this one could be it. A little French toast. Oh, that's right. French toast. It's delicious. I don't know if it comes with syrup. It looks good, though. I'm very much a visual when it comes to my cookies, too. And this looks like a good cookie. This looks like a good cookie. Like, that's what makes America great. The kid standing out in front of the supermarket selling you a Girl Scout cookie, and one person that bought some had a MAGA hat on, and the other person had an I Love Joe on. And they both like the new French toast. Soul of America is not politicians. It's us. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. God, that Girl Scout cookie looks delicious. I'm not going to lie to you. Oh, my goodness. The Boy Scouts never have anything good to sell. Never. The only thing I enjoyed was the tin of popcorn that Jack would get me every year. And it would come as like, this part is caramel, and this part is cheddar, And this part is, and the only thing that was ever eaten was the caramel, and the rest of it just sat there. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Maybe you know what? This is a great idea for the Boy Scouts. How about selling meat? Is that not PC? Probably not. But wouldn't that be great? Like, hey, the Girl Scouts gave you cookies, but before cookies, you're going to want a steak. Let's see where I'm going with this? Yeah. Wounded Paw Project, amazing organization. Let me talk about the soul of America. Here's an organization founded by a veteran who adopted a dog who changed his life, and then he put together an organization that is changing the lives of not only veterans, first responders and their family, but also animals. He trains animals. He rescues dogs, trains them, takes them from the shelter to become service dogs for our veterans, first responders, and their family. You can get involved and you can help. You can donate a car, a vehicle. Great tax-deductible gift. You can give by giving cash. You can also go to smile.amazon.com and set your supporting group up. It is amazing. Their motto is to save a paw is to save a life, and it is so incredible, the work they're doing. And it's not just we rescue cute little puppies and no, they will rescue dogs that have been through hell and back. 2 dogs they rescued out here one was like a fight dog, the other was a bait dog, and they're now service dogs. And one of them is a service dog for a child that's autistic. It's incredible. Find out how you can get involved by going to woundedpawproject.org, woundedpawproject.org, woundedpawproject.org. Chad Benson Show.
Well, get over it. It's time to forge a new path with your very own political cartographer, Chad.
More excitement tonight. Every day it's like, who's tonight? It's Hillary, Warren. Is Obama's tonight? Harris? Who's tomorrow night? Is it just Joe tomorrow night? Does he know that? Does he? I don't know if he does or not. He's very excited, though, because he is officially the one.
I take powerful people up on my elevator all the time. When they get off, they go to their important meetings. Me, I just head back to the lobby. But in the short time I spent with Joe Biden, I could tell he really saw me, that he actually cared, that my life meant something to him. That's why I nominate my friend, Joe Biden, as the next president of the United States.
I'm Senator Chris Coons from Delaware. It's my honor to second the nomination of my good friend, Joe Biden, to be the next president of these United States.
I think he's got the nomination. That's what I'm trying to tell you guys. I'm feeling like Joe's in with a win. I think so.
Thank you to all our delegations. I'm pleased to announce that Vice President Joe Biden has officially been nominated by the Democratic Party as our candidate for President of the United States.
Well, thank you very, very much. From the bottom of my heart, thank you all. It means the world to me and my family, and I'll see you on Thursday. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. His wife last night, she was good. She was good. She was. I thought she did. Lindsey Graham came out and said she did a great job. I think she did. Here's what she did last night. She humanized Joe in a much different way. She humanized Joe. And that's the empathy they have. Even, I'll say this, Melania, Eastern European women are not known for their super empathy. They're known for their beauty. And she's got it for days. But even if Trump was somebody who was soft and cuddly, she's not. Jill did a great job.
I've got sunshine on a cloudy day.
He said, I'd really like to see you again. So he's looking at his calendar and Thursday. No, I'm really busy. no, I'm busy Friday. How about tomorrow? And I thought, buddy, you just blew your cover.
She's owned me since then.
Yeah. She has. It's, she fights for him. It's cool. It's cool. I thought she did a good job. I did. I thought she did a good job in delivering it and humanizing him in a non-political way. Because we know a lot about what happened. He lost his wife and his daughter on Christmas Eve. Lost his son Beau a few years ago. So he is, I think it makes him human, which is what people want, is to sometimes feel human. That's why it's weird that Trump resonates so well with a lot of people in a middle America kind of way, even though he's a Manhattan billionaire. He resonates in a much different way. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me, text the program as well. It's the Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
The influenza vaccine is starting to be out and available at pharmacies, clinics, doctors' offices. CDC is urging everyone 6 months of age and over to get vaccinated.
Get vaccinated. And it's interesting because latest polls, only about half the people said if the vaccine comes out for the coronavirus, that they'd get it. I totally understand that. People say, would you get it? I said, I understand why people don't want to get it. And it has nothing to do with anti-vaxxers. There's a lot of, you guys kind of rush this thing out. We hear it takes, 10 years and billions of dollars to get this thing out. And you're doing this in like 6 months or a year. It's a little hasty, isn't it? I want to see what happens. Because we don't know what happens 2 years after you take this. We don't. We don't know if there's an adverse effect of taking this thing, and if we have to get one every year, and you find out, uh-oh. So people are a little like, no, I want it to come out, but I'm in a hold pattern at this moment. I'm not quite ready to purchase it yet. We know what we get with the flu vaccines. About 50% effective. Sometimes it's 55. Sometimes it's 35% effective. But we know what we get with it. This, not so much. Then there's that question. Can you be forced to take it?
What are people's rights in terms of denying people the right to work or whatever else if they won't get a vaccine? Or to go to school? Or not?
The right answer to any legal question always starts with the two words, it depends. However, I think this one, as a general matter, a government or a private employer or a school or a restaurant probably could insist on proof of vaccination with a couple of exceptions.
Ooh, proof of vaccination with a couple of exceptions for employment. That's interesting.
The general rule that at least in the middle of an epidemic, if there is a safe and useful vaccine, the government can force you to take it. If it's a state school, the government owns the school and the school is effectively the government. Constitutionally, it can force you to take it.
Ooh. Now, who's this, you say? This right here is Hank Greeley, Stanford public health expert. There's a Harvard expert came out the other day, said, yeah, they can make you take this in employment situations, school situations. And he said state school. You may go to a private school and they may not have that same kind of right or ask the same kind of thing. But a state school, that's a real thing. And that's scary. Because once again, it goes back to, and it shows you how contrarian we are in so many ways. We all want a vaccine. You're forced to take it. Well, hold on a second. I don't know if I want to take it. You can't force me to do anything. You want people to want to do it. It makes it easier. I want you to do this. Because when you force somebody to do it, they're going to push back. They're less apt to do it. So, and that's part of just human nature.
I think that if the FDA did a full approval of a vaccine, courts would say, yeah, that's good enough. That's been shown to be safe and effective. The fact that you don't believe it, but the FDA does, we're going to listen to the FDA. We're not going to listen to you. If it's something that hasn't been approved at all, I think courts might well say, you can't force this on people. It hasn't been approved at all.
Yeah. But the FDA is government. And government's forcing me to get something. Who's regulating the government from us? That would be a fair question. Remember, if you're forcing people rather than trying to make it their idea, you see what happens. People will push back. Inherently, that's totally what happens. In just about everything. Even if they know it's the right thing to do and a good idea, they want it to be their idea. This is my choice. Not your choice. Not you're forcing me. This is mine. You want choice? It's funny because here we are talking about this, and we talk about choice. If you tried to make people get divorced, they probably, no, I don't want to. But you did. No, you're making me? No. We're contrarians. We push back.
What about the case of an employer saying, we are opening back up, we want everyone to come back, but you've got to have this vaccine if you're coming into the office? So
as a legal matter, I don't think you've got much in the way of rights. Now, if you're in a union workforce and you're unionized, your union may be able to do something about it. That's, 10% of the American workforce. As a matter of constitutional law, as a matter of general federal statutory law, I think you'd be out of luck.
So we'll see, because I think that's going to be coming at some point in time. I still think we're a bit away from the vaccine. And with the way that this thing's going now, there's going to be, there's lawsuits everywhere. I'm seeing lawsuits. Have you been exposed to it because your employer forced you to come back to work? We're seeing that. We're seeing a lot of different things when it comes to lawsuits. Businesses suing states, trying to get themselves reopened. There's tons of this stuff. But when it comes to the vaccine, when and if we have it, even now, as much as everybody's like, yes, that'd be great if we had a vaccine. That would be awesome. Therapeutics vaccine would be amazing. You have to take it or else. Oh, hold on a second. Especially us Americans, we love to push back. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at us. Text the program as well. Tonight, more of the same. Lots of Joe and Trump's the devil, so vote for me because, that's the way that goes. So that should be pretty much what it is. Maybe we should all start thinking, based on how bad both sides of the aisle are, we should start prepping.
The New York City firefighter is a prepper and proud of it.
It's just a person who wants to be prepared for whatever disaster or emergencies might happen.
Charles has supplies in his apartment for 6 months and a storage unit with 6 to 9 months of goods. After spending $5,000, he stopped keeping track of his budget.
And COVID struck, and then the civil unrest, the riots, right? Now they're talking about food shortage later this year.
Charles runs the Angry Prepper YouTube channel, which has almost 30,000 subscribers. He's also been featured on National Geographic's Doomsday Preppers.
And you should think the worst is going to happen.
Well, being prepared is fine. I just never think the worst is going to happen. So many people walk around in life. It's what we have in our politics now. Listen to our politics. What's our politics? Vote for this person or the worst will happen. Vote for Joe or America dies. Vote for Trump or America dies. It's not the reality. It's good to be prepared. I've stocked up on the, just stuff that 3, 4, 5. Look, after 3 or 4 days, does it really matter how much food you have? It's like you're in a mess. After 3 or 4 days, probably all bets are off. What they should do, rather than being a prepper for food and craziness and all this kind of stuff, what they should have is backup Wi-Fi. I think that would solve 90%. If people could tweet and scroll through Instagram and all of that stuff, they'd forget about a lot of the other stuff going on.
He shows off his gear and tests out his escape route. Charles might not be most people, but 20% of Americans said they have spent money on survival materials, according to review site Finder. Sales of luxury bunkers are up. Business has increased 600%. Its Indiana bunkers start at $35,000.
That is... No. Somebody said, well, build you a bunker for $35,000. And I'd be like, okay, here's the deal. Build me a bunker. That's super. I want it to be soft sand, and you can put it right next to my putting green. Oh, you meant a place where I should hide. No, I'm totally fine, because if the world's coming to an end, I'm probably going to go chip some balls and do some putting. Hang out with my lizards. It's a good bunker right there.
Is thinking of the worst case a bad thing? Neuropsychologist Brittany Lemonada said not necessarily.
When we think about it, preparation, whether it's for something good or for something bad, is a goal-oriented behavior that in many situations is incredibly helpful and positive.
What drives people to prep is our instinctual feelings of fear. It's all in our heads.
So we get this emotional response before we get the cognitive, more thought-out response.
Yeah. Thinking a lot of those people, they think the worst all the time, and some people it's different. The business they're in makes them think sometimes that the world's out to get them, and sometimes people that are in certain lines of work and businesses, they see the worst of humanity, and they're like, the world's not coming to an end. It's not coming to an end.
Lemonada said people with a history of trauma or anxiety are more likely to react this way, or people who feel helpless or don't trust authority.
Can become unhealthy too if the thoughts or behaviors start to interfere with your daily life or your ability to get work done, your relationships with people. It takes some time to not look at the news or media at all throughout the day, because you can just get bombarded with information.
As for Charles, he thinks we should all stay vigilant.
Now's the time to do more before the hammer drops. But I don't think the hammer's dropped yet. I don't think we've seen anything yet.
No, because we're not going to. You overestimate how angry people are, and you underestimate the actual want to do things. It's going to be a civil war, only if it's an app. If you can't have multiplayer civil war, it's not going to happen. We overestimate the anger and underestimate our laziness. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. Text the program as well. Look, I'm the king of that. That's why, my protest is the non-protest. That's how I protest. Stay at home. I had tickets to the World Cup final on American soil. And I'd been to the semifinal and 10 other games. And I was like, I don't want to park. It's like 3 hours waiting. Overestimate the anger, underestimate the want. 323-538-2423. HelloFresh. Here's a perfect example. HelloFresh is amazing. What are they doing? They're making your life easier. You value your time. You're sick and tired of planning meals. They're going to deliver stuff straight to your door. You don't have to think about it. It's contact-free. It's going to save you money versus shopping at the store, about 40%. It's also going to save you the waste of overproducing and making stuff. And it takes about 20 minutes to make food. They take out All of that other stuff, the stress, any of that planning, don't worry about it. Family friendly, vegetarian. They got, you name it, low calorie. And this summer, we're, like with all the stuff going on, we're looking for ways to reduce the stress. HelloFresh can do it. Delivered right to your door. Flexible plans. Maybe 1 week you want to add some meals. Maybe next week you're on vacation or you're out of town. You don't need them. They'll work with you. Visit HelloFresh.com. Use code Benson to save $80 off your first box and free shipping. And the beauty is, it is the number one meal kit in America, and it is so simple. 20 minutes from the time you choose what you're going to make to the time you get it in your belly. HelloFresh.com, promo code Benson, saves you $80 off and free shipping on your first box. HelloFresh.com, promo code Benson, Chad Benson Show.
No need to fear. We promise we won't give you a noogie and make you cry Russia, Russia, Russia.
Who is the fearless leader?
Pui.
Pui and double pui.
What is your language? This is a family show, remember?
Pui to families too.
Nostrovia. This is Chad Benson.
Speaking of family friendly,
Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion's Ode to Female Sexuality, WAP, is number one.
I said certified free. 7 days a week.
The track debuts atop the Billboard Hot 100 singles chart, and Billboard says its 93 million streams is the most ever for a song in its first week of release. WAP also had the best sales week of the year. The song has been both praised and criticized for its graphic nature, launching 1,000 think pieces over whether it's pornography or staunch feminism.
Ooh. I won't tell you what WAP means, but just know it's not family friendly. It's feminism. Hey, by the way, she interviewed Biden. Did you guys know that? Do you think at any time Biden wants to, hey, we should bust out the WAP? Wouldn't that be awesome? I would be like, all right, he's got my vote. That was funny. That's all it takes to get a vote. Do you realize the insanity of just, like, Trump's tweeting about Goodyear tire. Don't buy Goodyear tires. Whatever you do, do not buy Goodyear tires at all. Why? They banned MAGA hats. They banned Blue Lives Matter. All Lives Matter, MAGA attire, and politically affiliated slogans or material unacceptable. What is acceptable? Black Lives Matter, which we all know is not political. Lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender pride is also acceptable. Don't they have uniforms at Goodyear? I thought they had uniforms. Isn't that like, don't they have like a white shirt or, and like, what are you wearing? Just curious. So some employee snapped a photograph. So Trump's tweeting about that. And the lady with the number one single in America, WAP, I'll let you figure out what that means, interviewed Biden. And at no time did he talk about her in that way. It's an anthem. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. More fun tonight. Lots of people on stage for the DNC tonight. This should be interesting. I'm always like, I get confused. Like, tonight is, and remember, it goes on all day. So you got the preliminaries happening at the Hispanic Caucus meeting. Then you got the Campaign Academy. Then the Labor Council meeting, the AAPI, Black Caucus, Interfaith, Ethnic Council meeting, Youth Council meeting, Women's Caucus. Then the pre-show. Behind the Rhyme presents Your Voice, Your Vote. Then we get to, all the other stuff. So get ready for it, kids. This is what it is. So you have more of that stuff. Tonight we've got Warren, Billie Eilish, Nancy Pelosi, Hillary, Tony Evers, Michelle Grisham, Gabby Giffords, Jennifer Hudson, Kamala Harris, and Barack Obama. Enjoy it. Or don't. I'm going to watch Gunsmoke. Have a wonderful day. We'll do it again tomorrow. As always, got you over the hump. Night, night, Jack.
This is the Chad Benson Show.